Good morning. I've begun the recording, and today we're just going to talk a little bit about voiceover work and um, just the beginnings of audio editing. So let's start with the audio editing. Out of curiosity, how many people have um, a MacBook that they're working on? If you're working on a MacBook, then you automatically have GarageBand, and it may be a little bit easier than using uh, Audacity. Everyone gets Audacity for free, but if you have a MacBook, you might be able to use GarageBand. I'm actually going to open up Audacity on this computer and share it with you. You can see my screen. Once you open up your Audacity program, this is what you'll see. And it will ask you if you want to use Audacity in the manual form, and that's what you want to do. I have Audacity 2.3.3, and I will use this format. Most of the buttons for Audacity, you will find them right at the top, and you are able to use Audacity in that way. Easy to quit Audacity. You can reformat the preferences. I wouldn't do that initially. I might look to do that later on down the road once I'm using it for more work. If you want to say a brand new audio file, you do that in the file folder. Either go with new or open recent, close, save project, export, and import. Audacity as an audio editing program is not transportable. If you save a file in Audacity, you will save it as an AUP file. You cannot take an AUP file from one computer to another computer. It just won't work. Don't worry about it. Don't try it. You will always export whatever file you're using for Audacity. So you want to export it as either an MP3 or a WAV or a WAV file. The WAV file contains more information than the MP3 file. The WAV file is preferable for editing, but for transporting or for sharing, MP3 is preferable just because it's much smaller. And I don't really know the ratio, but let's just assume it's like a 2:3 ratio. Rather than a 2 gigabyte file, you're transporting a 3 gigabyte file with WAV. It just has more information and more dynamic range. And if I'm saying stuff that just doesn't make sense or you already know, just let me know. You can hit me in the chat box, or you can just talk. So new, open, create, export, import. For editing, well, you really can't edit until you've got something to edit. I'll import a file in just a moment, and we'll go through just a little bit of this. Right now, really, you just want to get the bare basic understanding of audio editing. We talked last week about waveforms, and the audio editing, or this program, GarageBand, Adobe, Pro Tools, Reaper, all of them will have a visual representation of waveforms. So you'll see your peaks and valleys there. And then you can figure out how to use those peaks and valleys. You can even set the clip boundaries if you have a file. So let's not worry about clipping right now, but sometimes you want you want more sound than is natural. And select, you can select tracks, you can select regions, you can select clip boundaries, however you decide to do that. And view, you can make it bigger, smaller, you can track the size. I will also show you the macro keys for some of these things. I don't think I've ever actually clicked on the transport button in Audacity, so that's what's in there. And then, of course, you can add tracks, you can align tracks, you can do certain things in the tracks, and you can generate sounds in the generate. You will spend most of your time in the effects area. And this is once you start doing a little more editing. And there's tools, window, help, and of course, analyze. Let me see if I can grab a file. So this is something that I've had before. And as you can see in Audacity, this is a 4 minute and 40 second piece. Now, if I want to see this in a broader format, I want to see the bigger actual waves, I can go right here to zoom in. And for me, this is Magnify Plus. So what it does is it separates it by 15 seconds, 30 seconds, 45 seconds. Now, if I want to move that, there's a bottom cursor that will go all the way to the end of the track. And I want to go to the end of the track because I want to see exactly how long it is. So this is 430, 435, 440, 445. So I know this piece is going to be 442 or 443. And that's the whole length of it. Now let's assume that I just want to focus on one small piece of this. I just want to do the first 15 seconds. So I'm going to do a click drag for the first 15 seconds. This will work on a PC or a MacBook. And I'm not sure that it works on your iPad. However, I do know you can download Audacity to an iPad. So I just click, drag. So now I have actually captured those first 15 seconds. I use the macro key, so I'll do a Command C to copy those. And then I want to do a new track. So now I've got nothing in here. Click there, I do a Command V, and that will bring in the first 15 seconds and only those first 15 seconds. As I'm looking at this track here, I notice that I've got almost a half a second of silence. I can do the same thing with the click drag. So I want to click and drag to get rid of that half second of silence. From working on an editing file, the last thing I need is silence at the beginning, unless I ask for silence at the beginning. And then it's less than 15 seconds now. So I'm going to actually go from just after the 14 seconds, and I'm going to do a click drag just to highlight it. So now I've captured that. I'm going to go to an effect, and I'm going to do a fade out. And that just makes it quieter toward the end. So I've actually manipulated those waveforms. When I play this, so as we're playing it, you can actually see where it gets louder and lower and louder and lower, and they're right at the peaks. So that first sound that I just played, that is clearly a plosive, because you can see that it's right between the positive 0.5 and the negative 0.5, which is that sweet spot we were looking for. All right, I don't really need this anymore. There's no reason I need to save it. Does all of that make sense to everyone? Me. All right. So if you have not yet downloaded Audacity, go ahead and do so now. If you're having difficulty with it, please send me an email and I will try to walk you through the process of downloading Audacity. Now, the next step is to take the audio recording that you've made, and let me make sure I've got something on my phone for an audio recording. You do not have to buy Audacity. Audacity is a free download. And the reason we use it is because it's a free download. I'll go to my voice memos and see if I've got something in there. And I actually do. I need to share this with my computer, which means I got to turn on my AirDrop. Or not. Okay. I'll email this file to myself and then I'll start working through it. Okay. So that should make a little bit of sense. Just for the audio voiceover, we've already gone through scripting that, and hopefully you selected your literary piece that you're going to use, and you may have practiced it a few times. I'm going to go ahead and put into the course content that project so you can submit it as soon as you're finished. I made the mistake, and Mr. Rameau reminded me that I made this mistake of dropping one of your assignments into a different class. I teach an online version of this class as well. And your assignment is in that class, so I just have to move it back so that you can actually access the submission for the other assignment as well. So give me to the end of the day and I will make sure that happens. Last thing I want to talk about, and this should just be a few more minutes, is miking and the way that you actually use the microphone. So the way that you're going to use your microphone is to get the best possible sound. You really want to avoid what we call plosives. I'll put this in the box because this is a test question. And a plosive would be a hard sound that increases the decibel level and often can cause distortion. So certain consonant sounds are plosives. The T sound and the P sound and the D sound are all plosives because it forces more air and more pressure on the sound waves. So if you begin a word with P, like the word plosive, you will see in your waveforms that that's higher than the rest of the word, plosive. The same thing with your T's and with your D's. You want to avoid the T's, and if there's any way possible, I'm sorry, you don't want to avoid, you want to soften the T's. If there's any way possible, as you're recording, the microphone on your phone is typically at the bottom of the phone. And you want to point the microphone toward yourself, but as the plosive comes, you want to tip it slightly away to reduce the plosive sound. The perfect spacing for a microphone would be the length between your thumb and your pinky finger. So your thumb goes on your mouth, the phone should go to your pinky finger, and that should be the perfect spacing for a microphone because it picks up both natural sound and your voice. If for some reason you want to eliminate all the natural sound, then you can certainly move the microphone closer to your mouth. But keep in mind, if you do that, you're going to have many more plosives because the phone does not have it, or the microphone doesn't have a chance to soften those plosives for you. So you'll have to do that in your edit. If you're in a loud space, but you do want some natural sound, of course, you move the microphone a little bit closer, a little bit further away. What the microphone is a transducer. It basically takes that analog sound wave and converts it into digital sound wave. It converts it into electrical energy, motionable energy into electrical energy. A reverse transducer does the opposite. It takes electrical sound waves and converts them back into motionable energy, back into analog sound waves. So a speaker is a reverse transducer. Headphones, earbuds are all reverse transducers. Microphone is a transducer. Everything else on the other end of that is a reverse transducer. Sound is all analog. It is impossible to hear digital sound. When I showed you in Audacity, you can see digital sound, but it's impossible to hear digital sound. And that's when I played my little clip from my Audacity file, that was the reverse transducer in the computer. The speakers of the computer allowed me to actually hear the digital sound. Could you hear my sound when I played that clip? In that way, your computer was the reverse transducer because my computer sent your computer the digital sound and your computer picked it up and converted it from electrical energy back into motionable energy so that your computer or phone, so you could actually hear those sound waves and watch the digital representation of those sound waves in the editing format. Digital sound, those peaks, those valleys that we saw in that Audacity file, it is only representative of zeros and ones, a series of zeros and ones. Analog sound, of course, is not zeros and ones. It is what we actually hear. At some point, maybe we want to talk about the way that the ears work and why I suggest that you use over-the-ear headphones versus earbuds, if at all possible, just because it protects the ear and it gives you much better, full rounded sound. Next class, I'm actually going to go into a different room in my house and I'm going to play for you some vinyl records so you can hear the difference between the vinyl versus the digital sound. Are there any questions for anything I've covered today? No questions? That is fantastic. What I'm going to do is I'm going to, I can certainly repeat whatever you like. Mr. Pickens, what would you like me to repeat? Oh, about the zeros and ones. Okay. So digital sound is not actually waveforms. The digital sound is just zeros and ones. So the sound in your computer, when my computer is communicating with your computer over my network and then your network, it does not come as my voice. It comes as zeros and ones. the way that it's received to your computer is also zeros and ones. Your computer translates those zeros and ones into my voice, including the different frequencies of my voice. So you can hear it when I get louder or lower, but also when my tone goes up or down. So, but it's all zeros and ones for digital, and that's why you can't hear it. So you do hear the analog or the uncomplicating of those zeros and ones on the end of your computer, or in some cases, your cell phone, which is really a computer. Does that make more sense? Great. All right. Yes, exactly. It's binary code. What I will do is I'm actually going to post a separate discussion. You will send the book reading your voiceover work in MP3 format, please. So you're going to convert it to MP3 format. You may bring it into your Audacity or into your GarageBand and make sure you export it as an MP3 with your name. So the file will be your name and voiceover. There are lots of different headphones. Over-the-ear headphones are the best. I have some Sony Pro headphones that I like because I believe that it gives me the most dynamic sound and there is no bass boost. If you listen through Beats, there is almost always, not almost, there is always a bass boost, so you get more bass than you do treble, mid-range, and the high end. So I like the full sound. So I like Sony. But Behringer makes a fantastic headphone. Bose makes a pretty good headphone, but there's some bass in Bose, and there's clearly some bass in the Beats. If you like, I can make some suggestions for headphones. You just have to give me a price range, and I can tell you what I think are the best headphones for those for that price range. But I mean, if you don't want to buy headphones, I mean, every phone now comes with earbuds. Just know that when you use those earbuds, you're damaging your eardrums. Audio Tech are also very good headphones. I'm not familiar with Afterglow headphones, but are they over the ear? Or are they on the ear? I don't like gaming headphones, but that's just me. When you're ready to invest in some headphones, you may actually want to go listen to several different pair when we're no longer in a pandemic. Okay, over the ear gamer headphones. All right. And also the noise reduction headphones. They're a cute idea, but they don't actually enhance the sound in any way. It actually detracts from the sound because it gives you white noise in order to eliminate sound outside the headphones. That wasn't our discussion for today. We will talk about headphones at another time. All right, so everyone understands what we're supposed to be doing. I will post that assignment in course content right now as soon as we're done here, and we can go ahead and move on with our next assignment and then move toward the radio programming project, which is the bigger assignment for this part of the semester. If you have any other questions, feel free to email me, and I will do my best to respond to those emails. I have to respond within 2 days. But I will do my best 2 work days. If you send me something on Friday night at 9:30, I do not have to respond on Saturday. That's my weekend. I do have to respond by Monday, though. I'm going to stop the recording right now.